Welcome back. I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE, here at Google Next 2026. Got a great conversation segment here, talking about how GenAI is impacting organizations. Jim Anderson, Vice President of Google Cloud Channels and Ecosystem. Great to see you again.
Great to see you, John.
Lisa Caswell, who is with Spencer Stuart and partner. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Spencer Stuart, really well-known organization change agent. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
The Google Next theme this week is literally about how tokens and GenAI and how agents are shaping the world and applications coding and agents. But the biggest story is the role of the C-suite and how organizations are transforming. A transformation is happening. It's probably the biggest I've ever seen in my lifetime. Multiple waves coming together, bigger than the PC, bigger than the internet, bigger than the cloud. This is a big wave, Jim. You guys are already doing great at cloud. #1 in many categories. Gemini is doing great, getting in stride, orchestrating. How is that impacting organizations? I know we know that we talk speeds and feeds a lot, solutions and customers and partners, but the organizations have to implement and affect the change.
Yeah, so you sort of nailed it. How vendors, partners, and customers interact is fundamentally changing in the world of AI. As we move away from selling static tools to actually creating a digital workforce with these organizations, we've moved away from the transaction being the most important thing to the focus on how do you bring value across the recurring life cycle that's based on integration, adoption, and continual optimization. Partners no longer are just service partners or resellers. They've become sort of the fundamental infrastructure to make sure that we can drive the business outcomes that we're seeking as we move to AI. And our goal from Google is how do we de-risk that environment with our ecosystem for customers moving forward.
There used to be an old expression, a disruptive enabler, when something came out of protocol or a shift, because it actually disrupted an incumbent and a new player would take the territory or take the space. We have disruption with GenAI, but it's not so much disrupting and displacing, it's accelerating everybody. So it's like an acceleration and disruption at the same time. Lisa, you advise boards and organizations around these trends. This one's a little bit different. What's your take on this? Because everyone in the C-suite scratching their head, we have to play different, we've got to do different things. What's your advice? What are some of the conversations you're having?
Well, they are constant, and from the board level to the C-suite to the employees on a regular basis. And what it is that balance of speed versus taking your time, because I think many are realizing that data is their greatest asset of that, and so there's a fair amount of fear, if you will, of sometimes going too fast, and then some are just blazing ahead as fast as possible. Every board is asking every management team, what have you done for me lately when it comes to AI? Show up at the board meeting, tell me what you're doing, which is putting a great deal of pressure on the management team to make moves. And what's interesting is people are moving faster. There is a great deal of adoption, but there is not yet the organizational, acknowledgement of the organizational change that has to happen, the new culture that has to come along.
Jim, we talk about agents, and that's essentially a digital workforce.
Yes.
Also, a lot of this GenAI is generational. It's a long game.
Yes.
How should people think about this? Because, and Lisa, I'd love you to weigh in too, because an agentic workforce is still a workforce.
It is.
They have managers, maybe there are other agents or other humans directing them, steering them. This is a new dynamic. What's your thoughts on this agentic or this digital workforce?
Well, yeah, I think you have to look at it from, hey, what outcome am I trying to leverage, and what assets do I have to make that outcome happen, right? And I tell people that I still see AI as a journey and not a transaction. And how do we work on that journey together to address things like organizational readiness, change management, and all those types of things. I like to say that it's a process of continual learning that you have to do as you work through these type of environments, and then you build on that sort of moving forward. And that's really what we're focused in on. No longer is it simply, hey, how do we go in, provide this technology, and move on? It is more, how do we help you as an organization reach the outcomes, and then actually continually improve from those outcomes moving forward? And that's really what we focus in on right now.
Lisa, you guys get hired in from big companies, needed really a lot of gain. Could be a startup, could be a spin out. Organizational change is what you do.
Exactly.
How would you categorize this moment that we're in? Because yesterday's CEO might not be tomorrow's CEO. The team formation or organizational dynamics or structure of maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago might not be the same going forward. What's that mean for you? And then what are people talking about? Like, what's the conversation like? Upside down? Is it sideways? Is it growing? Do we flip the script? I mean, we've heard all kinds of things. What's your thoughts?
Well, I think it depends on, frankly, the age of the organization and sometimes the leaders, right? Many of us will say, oh, this is a faster version of what happened in the PC days or the cloud days or, these other days. And so it's just, I need to move faster, but I'm comfortable in this change. There are what I'll call becoming the AI natives, which is, no, you can really fundamentally rethink your organization. And it comes down to, how do you create a culture of agility and yet the ability to truly shed old skins and rethink from a first principles standpoint. You'll hear a bunch of times that companies are remaking themselves, and companies need to decide. The conversation is, are these agents a workforce, or are they an enablers to make every single one of my employees a superpower and what that's capable? And that's really the dialogue. And there's a lot of conversation on how we want to view that. And part of it is fear of, I'm going to be replaced with a digital workforce.
I got a lot. Go ahead, and I know you're smiling. What do you want to add to that?
No, I know. I think the point of technology in general is to make a difference and to augment human capability and those types of things. And so I do think that agents help make people a superpower. And I just know myself, my personal assistant, has actually made me more efficient. It hasn't replaced me, type of thing, but it's made me more efficient. I think that's how you have to take a look at it.
I got a lot of heat on LinkedIn. I put a post up and on my Substack called "The Great AI Sort." And the thesis is that AI is getting so good at helping people, it's changing kind of the roles. And so people that might not been up for a promotion excels at something.
Yep.
You start to see the cream rise to the top, as they say, and changes. So this is causing a lot of conversations around, okay, what are we betting on? So I'd love to get your thoughts on the mindset of individuals who could go from in an organization to rising quickly, and to management to try to figure out how to not block that or foreclose that. And just from a management style, what are some of the thinkings around how to enable more of that and encourage it? I mean, we've heard people say, hey, be in the office, everyone should use the tools.
Right.
What's your thoughts?
Well, I think you have to look at a whole new level of agility within your own self, so as you move forward. I think that as leaders, right, we have a sort of top-down approach, but we also have to look at a bottoms-up approach, right, to get people to buy into this technology and take advantage of it. Some of the best ideas will come from a bottoms-up approach. Personally, when I look at it and talk to customers out there, it's really about how we're going to leverage this technology to get done what we're trying to get done more efficiently, and actually free us up to do other value-add work out there, type of thing. So skill training is going to be critical. How we all bring value, is something. But we've been through a lot of changes like this before, and so I think it'll be, definitely a positive thing moving forward.
I mean, the power tools are coming to the job site, if you will. I mean, if you were using a hammer and a handsaw, now you got new equipment. Yeah. Tooling is a big thing, Lisa. This comes up a lot.
But it needs to come up from the board level down. And so what's interesting is, in the past, the boards have had my security expert on the board or my one token technology person. Frankly, right now, boards are going to have to speed up and actually understand the technology and what they're asking of the organization. And so I think we're going to actually see some real development of the organization from the board level. And I think the organizations need to help the boards understand that what it is. It's not just your IT guy that's now doing something. And therefore, even at the C-suite, the CEOs need to be embracing this. And every C-level executive needs to be a user. It's just not my people that are doing it, and needs to think about that team effectiveness inside of that. And it's not only in my team, but cross-functionally and with the ecosystem. So I think this is the ultimate. The best companies in the world are those that have built the greatest ecosystems. Always has been. And those that have the longest lifespan for that. AI now enables that in a completely new way.
Yep.
It's interesting when you have the kind of talent coming in, you see a lot of people who come in, hey, I need to hire a CEO, I got to transform my organization. What do you look for now? What are some of the skills that you look for these days? And how do companies decide in this era, or maybe they haven't decided yet because it's kind of happening in real time, but what's your view on this? Because I think it's different. We're kind of seeing it different when people hire and look for leaders.
Yeah.
Is there a certain makeup that's consistent? And if the tooling's changed, maybe the dashboards are changing, or maybe the organization had an IT department that went away with cloud, but there might not be an AI department because it's going to be everywhere.
It's going to be everywhere.
You're going to have shadow IT turn into shadow CFO. I mean, this is what we're already seeing this happen with AI. Shadow AI is the term, but Jim, it's happening at all levels.
It's
not
happening
just
at all levels.
IT.
And I'll let Lisa answer the skill set, because we sort of talked about it, a little bit the other day, that people are looking for this nirvana person to hire with all this AI experience, that's developed agent, this, that. They don't exist out there, right? So you have to have a whole different mindset of what you're hiring. We're hiring someone that actually can develop within the organization to get all those characteristics go there. But you can talk about that better than I can.
We spend a lot of time. Well, people always do ask for I want the person that's had the applied AI success, has scaled and grown in this way. And oh, by the way, could they have one of these 5 companies in their background? And we said, you've got to become your own academy. So literally for anything below the CEO, become your own academy of AI capabilities inside of the organization.
You mean bring AI in-house and get it infused in everyone's...
Bringing it in and just adopting it in such a way that you are training the skills that the people that know that. It doesn't mean that you can't bring in talent from the outside, but I say it sort of cheekily, start recycling the same 5,000 people and really make sure that every level understands this and is adopting and learn from each other. So what that means is agility is probably the #1 thing that we're looking for in the C-suite across the board. High learner capabilities. We actually do testing on people's agility and capacity to change. And that's a very different thing when many companies are safety and order in how they're thinking, and yet you have to have this huge capacity to change, because this is we're just at the beginning, right? This flywheel is going to continue to evolve.
And it's not going to slow down.
It's not going to slow down.
Change management is a whole category of consultants. There's companies that all they do is change management.
Well, and you're going to do
that
business
in-house.
process reengineering, right? So these leaders are going to have to do is potentially rebuild their organization. And we've talked a little bit offline of disrupt yourself before somebody else does, because this is going to operate at a pace. And whether you do it inside your organization or you stand up a sideline organization. And in that case, I would say only 20% of it should come from your current org, so that you're not too biased, and you start with first principles of how would I build my organization today with the tool set that I have, having access to all the data that I have, but how would I build everything from the ground up and the workflows?
Jim, this is, what she's talking about is actually real, happening now, but if you think about where we are in history, it's a historic moment because it's a first time for everybody. So at Google, you have the tools, you've seen that. What's your perspective on this? Because you guys have built it from the ground up, Google Cloud, over the years, and now powering and enabling all this. You have the AI arsenal. How should people think about affecting that change and being their own academy and training people? You're exposed to all the Gemini tools and everything coming out of Google. What would be your advice for organizations? Because I think that's a good trend that we're seeing, that build your own, grow your own talent.
Yeah. Well, I think that's critical, right? You talk about our tools, right? We talk about Gemini Enterprise actually allows you to create a secure front door to your enterprise estate for AI, right, to take advantage of it. And a lot of times what I tell people, the focus is, it's not simply on working or building capabilities. You got to build, as you mentioned, capacity, right? Capacity in today's environments to really achieve the outcomes that you're looking for. And that's going to be a continuous journey as you move forward. And we, even from an ecosystem standpoint, our focus is building that capacity, so that we can help customers, like I talked about, de-risk this journey, focus on business outcomes, and then bring the change management so you can get the organizational readiness needed to take advantage of this technology.
Lisa, you recently co-authored research at Spencer Stuart on the 3 tensions. It was called the 3 leadership tensions. What is that paper about? What does that mean? Why did you co-author it? And what was the takeaway? So
really it was about that push and pull concept of, I can start mandating as a CEO, thou shalt, we're going to create great new initiatives and grow at this scale and do this because we have this, AI. Or you can pull people along, which is, let me show you what I'm beginning to do inside of the organization and encourage leadership to do exactly that, where you're pulling people along rather than setting just some crazy audacious goal and expecting it to happen. It's being a part of the journey is a piece of that.
Are those two approaches mutually exclusive, or can they coexist?
They can coexist, but you have to work at it because you get folks that say, I have great followership, right? I set big, clear
climb
goal.
that hill.
I set big, clear goals, and everybody's going to follow that.
Figure it out.
That's great. But now you actually have to be a part of that journey. And we're seeing a lot of executives get very excited, Many times folks have said, I want to replicate myself, right? They're now having the ability to replicate themselves.
Well, now you can lead by example if you're coding. I interrupted you, so continue the three principles.
But it's also the sort of the organizational enablement that you're ensuring is there. And that is, again, letting go of certain things to where you're really empowering that organization, but that team effectiveness really becomes absolutely crucial as part of that. And now you have both partners, digital workforces, if you want to call them that, and a real mix in skills, because you're going to have AI natives coming out of college, right? Everybody's been very worried about what's going to happen to the college kids, and now you're going to actually have the ability to have college kids teaching older folks. I was talking to somebody at Salesforce the other day, and they did a complete refresh of their organization, and they were hiring very young kids to come in and teach the leaders, but didn't want to lose the knowledge that was actually in-house from the legacy organization.
You talk about shadow company, standing up a shadow company and aligning systems with culture.
Yeah.
I could see that being a big deal here because it's a systems game. We just had a conversation here at Google Next with Anthropic, Jim and I, and it's a systems, not just the model itself. There's going to be many models, there'll be many agents. Systems are going to be now more front and center as a organizational behavior, operational aspect. Element.
Absolutely. So everything from systems thinking to org design is going to change dramatically. So again, it's can you shed the old and rebuild a new type of organization using these tools and first principles thinking.
I liked your idea earlier, your thought about, okay, if we're going to start a company all over again, if we get a mulligan, or we can just blink, you know, I dream a genie, blink and the thing's over. It's, you get a whole new organization. That's a great way to think fresh. Without kind of the previous,
remaking yourself is so hard to do. It was just saying, like, how do I do this faster? Worrying about what do I let go? It's if you could build next to it. And you might evolve one into the other because you have to take care of the customers. So you can't lose that capability. And you stress this so much as, the customer focus and still delivering on the outcomes. And so I suspect if one runs, the other one's going to speed up and catch up, and you can.
I'm just curious, you may not have enough data here, but I'll ask the question anyway. Is there a line of sight into a candidate that's ideal for this world in terms of accomplishments? We've all seen the resume. I was valedictorian, went to school, worked for this company 20 years, ran a P&L, was always profitable. Glassdoor might not say the same amount about leadership skills, but now it's different. Just pull through, there's a little bit new management style. Is there certain characters or makeup of a person? It's like an athlete. Is
I
it a
think
triple threat?
Really variety. I think the 3-sport athlete is going to be the one that wins. Technology for so long has built our functional expertise and the ability to have worked across the organization, because then you know what you're actually trying to build into that AI. Instead of just making that one function faster, you make it very, very different. So I think the 3 sports, I think there's going to be a new wave of behavioral sciences coming along, so anybody that studied that. Liberal arts, I think, is going to take on a new thing, because it's just that thinking, that philosophy of thinking differently. So I think that that adds to the agility.
Connecting dots and solving problems, right? I mean,
Well, engineering is great at pattern recognition, so
Yeah.
so I think there's going to be a place for everybody, but it really is that openness to redefine yourself and the world order in which you thought of it. And so when we do the tests of folks, it's the, we keep throwing one more angle at you. If you can adjust very quickly, so that ability to adjust is going to be there. I think the partnership and the communication never ever goes away, because that's actually what you're training the systems to do. So the being wildly articulate is going to be huge, because it's like training your children. Do you train them manners, and do you put the rules on them really tight, and do you do these things? So if you do that in a very articulate way, the systems you build will be that much smarter.
Jim, it's interesting, Lisa, Jim was at our studio at the NYSE, our new studio, and I have some observations just being from Silicon Valley going to Wall Street, is that technology is the market. So I'd say from my early data, Jim, I'd say it's the three sports would be, you got to be a builder, operator, and investor.
Yeah.
Know when to direct capital, operate things, and build.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great way.
What do you think that translates into as you look at your world today? Because here at Google Next, because you're investing your time, you're investing budget, tokens. How does that affect your world? Because here we're going to hear a lot more, freewheeling use cases of agents running around solving problems created by a kid or someone in the organization. Who let these agents loose? Oh my God, they're doing great things. So things are going to start happening.
Yeah, I mean, how does it translate to us? I look at it at Google, I think we're a builder, of the technology. Right? We're on the frontier with regards to AI technology. At the same time, we're an operator of that technology, working with the ecosystem, using it internally, those types of things, and we're sharing those proven paths with our customers. And last but not least, I think we're an investor of that technology, because we're doing things to invest in joint customer success, like deploying engineers at our customers to integrate this technology into the environment, doing training associated to upload their skills so that they can take advantage of this technology and those types of things. So that model, I think, is something that we apply ourselves at Google, and that's how we're approaching the market.
Yeah, you guys got some great business results. Congratulations. Lisa, final thought, I'll come to you. For folks that don't know much about what you do on a daily basis, put a plug in. What are you optimizing for? What's your focus? What's in a day in the life?
A day in the life of Lisa. I don't know if you want to ask that, John.
Explain what you, because you have a very interesting role, because you've been on both sides of the table. You're on the front wave now, and you're seeing a lot of things.
Yep.
Explain kind of what you do and what you're optimizing for these days.
Yeah. So Spencer Stuart at large is optimizing for making organizations, frankly, their best selves with the best teams possible at a moment in time, because that changes depending on where an organization is in their own journey. And so whether you're putting board members on that can inspire team members and support new management teams that are moving forward, and getting each one of those to be incredibly effective, right? So this team effectiveness and the culture that you need to drive, that is exactly what we do. And so it is, culture, team, leadership, maximization, and then of course when needed, finding the best talent in the world, again, for the moment in time where those companies are at their journey. But it never is just one of those things. It's the intersection of all of that.
Well, I really appreciate the insight here at Google Next. I appreciate it. Definitely have to follow up for our C-suite. So Jim, always a pleasure.
Always
Again,
a pleasure.
congratulations. The ecosystem is growing like crazy.
Yes.
You're doing your job. Good work.
Exactly.
Good to see you. I'm
Thank you
doing
so
my
much.
job here, asking good questions to find out what's going on in the reality of GenAI. As people want to figure out how to live their life and perform in their job, the GenAI and agent world is changing organizations and the people in them. Agentic workforces are coming, and of course, a lot of positive changes if you have the right guardrails, of course, and security. We're here at Google Next. I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE. Thanks for watching.